Turn my mic on. There we go. We in here. Yeah, it's a reaction video today, people. You ready? You ready? I can't wait. See, if we could have had this all on TikTok. Tommy. You know, Tommy. Not Tommy Pickles, but Tommy Coleman. Tommy, I'ma beat your ass when I see you, June. I can't wait. Yeah, you gotta have fun, man. You gotta have fun. Everybody, go to my YouTube. You guys are gonna want to watch this video. Plus, I'm gonna get off of here on TikTok so I could read your comments on YouTube because we're gonna talk about it. I'm gonna pause this video a lot. This video is about to be paused a lot because, again, we're not just gonna hear something and not say something. You know what I mean? And I might be like, yo, how many of y'all actually believe some of this shit? Because, again, flood a cesspool with so much raw sewage, right? When they hear the truth, they don't know it. So there's going to be truth in here. There is. I don't care how far-fetched some of these theories are. There's going to be truth in this video, okay? So much truth. And so many lies. So much MK. So much deception. So much, hey, I can't talk about that. But we're reacting. So we're neither going to confirm nor deny. We're just going to speculate. Keep it out of your own personal beliefs and ideologies, only with the information that's given and the evidence we have to support our claims. That's it. No perspective, people. We try not to do perspective because perspective gets you banned. It does. So we're just reporting on the information that's already presented. Bias. Yeah, no biases. We're gonna battle the truth, with evidence, with observable evidence, not what some PhD said or. You know, dinosaur bones aren't even dinosaur bones. That's probably going to be on here.
I watched a video about that earlier.
Yeah, it's all, bro. They've never found a dinosaur bone. And you're worried about if the Earth is flat?
It wasn't about dinosaurs. It was about dragons.
Right. What about them?
Detta?
Shout out Detta 910.
No,
it wasn't a Leviathan video.
No.
I gotta get my boy Detta on here. If you watching Detta, I love you, brother. Keep doing what you're doing. God's free chosen man. I love you, bro.
Turn on the sound.
Oh yeah, hold on. Pardon self. Pre-production fucked up. He's not doing his job.
Yeah.
That's what it is, you know. Let me get that. Yeah, we got some ambience in here. I know it's so running, bro. We almost had tornadoes last night. Shout out to everyone. Please be safe out there in Arkansas, Illinois.
It is absolutely nuts around here,
bro. Tennessee, Kentucky, be safe out there, man. Alabama, be safe. Be safe. Be safe. I just saw some big shit hit in Arkansas, and bro, that could be anyone's life. Again, we wake up one day. I was just saying this to Cliff. You never know when it's your day. So, again, stay grateful, stay present. Please stay present because one day you can have all your shit taken from you and it'll be no fault of your own. It's just you were it was fate.
And he's over here going, I want to see one.
I do want to see one. I don't, you know what I mean. Like, in the field, I don't want no one's house to get hit. You know what I mean? Kids, again, before I came over here, I saw a whole family's house go burn down on Christmas, 2 days before Christmas. And they didn't wake up thinking that was going to happen.
No.
So be careful again. Be careful. You're karma out there. You
don't think it can happen.
Anything, man. Be grateful, you know, and live in gratitude. It's the best advice I can give you. Tomorrow's not promised, so live today. But we're gonna get into this video, man. I hope you guys are excited. We will pause this a lot. Hey, Stacy, the last one it was in 2023. Talk about tornadoes. Sup? Go to my YouTube, guys. You guys are gonna want to watch the video. I'm gonna get off of here just so I can get on my YouTube. Trust me, link in the bio, go there. You want to see this as a reaction, we're going to pause, and I also can look at what you guys are saying on YouTube, so that's why I'm getting off here. So we're going to start this video. You guys see the video behind me? It is, go to YouTube, guys. It is the conspiracy theory Iceberg. And again, Cliff will also be giving his 2 cents. Whenever he wants to pause, you can pause and he say something. But that's what we're going to do. Doesn't mean we're going to pause every 2 seconds.
No.
You know, we're going to give you guys we
could sit here and pick this apart all
night.
Right,
of course. But it'll be up there.
I'll probably just let you roll and then I'll.
Yeah, you'll know. Yeah, you'll know. Well, you see me do this, pause.
Right.
But all right, guys, we're going to start playing. Hope you guys enjoy it. Again, we're just trying something new. And who knows? Play with it. This is a podcast. I guess you guys would probably also give your feedback if you like it this way too as well.
This image floating around for a while called the Iceberg conspiracy list. And for those of you who don't know, it is a picture of an iceberg, and on it there are several separate tiers that gauge conspiracy theories from how known they are to how unknown they are. I'll actually throw it up now so you can look at it. As you can see, it is huge. There are several variations, but I think this one is the best, not only because it is the most well structured with different tiers and specifics for what each tier means, but it also is the most comprehensive. As I tried to find research for this, I'm telling you there was none. Like, no one had done a full breakdown of it. There's a couple people who did one or two, and then after researching it, people were saying that everyone who did full reviews of it was having their videos taken down. So we'll see what happens. I decided who better to do it than me. Technically a lot of people, that doesn't matter. What I'm going to do is, because this thing is huge, every one of these phrases can lead you down an entire rabbit hole of research and investigation.
Facts.
Some of them are well-known stuff like UFOs or Bigfoot, but as you get into some of these later ones, it gets creepy. Like, you drag over some pretty scary ones like human flesh markets or children trapped in floors and things such as, but once you get really far into it, like tier 9, tier 10 stuff, it gets like God's ego death, or the universe was created as a test, and things like that that have like these whole networks and stories behind them, but just aren't commonly known. And I'll go ahead and say right now, none of what I'm talking about means I believe it per se. I'm simply conveying what the conspiracy is because I think it's cool. And some of these are awesome. So what I'm going to do here is I am going to do a quick run through of the tier 1, and then the next video will be tier 2, and etc. Like I said, the further you go down, the more crazy that gets. So this one's pretty much to whet your appetite. Although there is a lot of cool stuff in this tier that I learned in research for this video. Some of the ones we'll get into in later videos are absolutely crazy, like the City of Broken Candles or the Valley of Headless Men and things such as. But like I said, I'm going to go through the entire chart, so we're starting with tier 1. The title and description for tier 1 is Crazy Head, and the description reads, mainstream conspiracies and unsolved mysteries. Most of this stuff is well documented and known to a good portion of the Western citizens. A lot of common theories may be grouped in broader terms or may not even appear on the chart at all considering their meaning and popularity. Also, quick disclaimer on this first tier, this doesn't really apply to the others, but some of these are so well known or you've heard so many times I'm not even going to cover them, like fake news or Bigfoot or UFOs. Like, we all get it. I don't need to go into detail about them. But without further ado, let's get into this, and thank you for watching. First up, we have Big Pharma. Most of you know about this. It's pretty much just a huge encompassing theory that pharmaceutical companies suppress vaccines and cures that are made in order to make money off of treatment. Next, we have Atlantis. Original records of Atlantis date back to Greek times, I believe, between Sparta and Athens, of a continent located somewhere in the Atlantic Ocean. And since they couldn't have got to North America, that would require there to be something in between that has since disappeared or sank. Next up, we have one of the first ones that I didn't know about until getting into this, and that is Nostradamus. Nostradamus was an old philosopher who came up with several of the constellations and discovering the night sky, and it is believed that several of his predictions came true later, such as World War II and the Great London Fire. However, from doing my own research, this is kind of BS because, like, for example, the London Fire, he said that there would be bad things happening in London, and then a bad thing happened in London, so yeah. The Mandela effect. Most of you are probably familiar with this, but it essentially says that there are parallel universes that cross over with each other in minor ways that we're not aware of. For example, those who remember the Bernstein Bears from their childhood may be surprised to know that it's actually the Bernstein Bears, and that several discrepancies like that exist. Like the Monopoly Man has no monocle, and yada yada yada. This is a cool one, it's very deep, it goes on for itself, so if you're interested, check it out. Next is Malaysian Flight 370, which disappeared somewhere over the Indian Ocean. The conspiracy states that there is a U.S. military base there, and more than likely the plane was either hijacked and flying towards it, or flew too close to it, to which the U.S. military shot it down and covered up all evidence of it, although practically I feel that there's a lot of moving parts in that couldn't be kept secret for so long. The GMO conspiracy.
Go ahead, hit it.
Regarding
MH370. Now, real quick, before I even get onto MH370, when he was talking about Atlantis, I want to see what some of y'all say in the chat. you heard the timeline of where the Atlanteans were with? What do you say? The Romans and some old Rome, basically. I believe they lied about Atlantis and saying it all disappeared. I believe we're on it. I don't know about y'all. That's just my take on it. Again, we're all Tartarians. We're all Atlanteans. We're all from the original 12 tribes of Judah. It's just that our history's been played with. But whenever I hear them talk about Atlantis, I don't think it's underwater. I think it's all myth. I think they just renamed some shit, and it's like, oh, where's the lost land? It could have been Rome.
Thinking of it, if everything was flipped, what was in the water now used to be on land before, and that's.
I hear what you're saying, but that just doesn't make sense, though. You know what I mean? Like how buoyant with all the water. You know what I mean?
Right.
So how would that? That sounds like some sci-fi shit. Like we polarized gravity, the opposite. We're inside Earth or something.
Well,
which imagine that.
If it's a simulation.
Yeah, right. Listen, I think exactly. Which kids and floors. Did you peep that one?
No.
The kids and floors.
You
didn't hear him say kids and floors?
No, I didn't catch that.
Oh, you looked right at me. You know.
No, I was listening. I just didn't hear that part.
I swear to God, he said the kids and floors theory, which I can't wait for him to get to. But MH370, I've heard so many different types of conspiracy theories dealing with that. First, it was 6 people that had patents on there that they wanted to take the patents. That was one.
Yeah.
The government.
Yeah.
I mean, how does a plane disappear? In the chat, do y'all think MH370 was a government job or was it an accident?
Or the technology they showed that they used.
Think about
something was being used.
Think about 180 people that was on that flight just disappeared because of our government. If that is true,
right?
If that's true,
right?
Collateral damage. That's diabolical.
That's what they think of us.
Yeah. Let me tell you. You're about to hear a lot of bullshit on here, but that MH370, I'm sorry, I don't think it's bullshit.
I don't either.
That's like saying 9/11's bullshit. That's all I can say.
Well, it's like another Titanic.
Right. Yeah. That's a hit job. Right. Yeah. Right. All the things, but that had purpose. They got rid of the money. It was all control. But again, you probably hear that. Go ahead, hit play.
There's GMOs that are in several foods, from fast food and markets and things such as, which are used in this conspiracy to cause food shortages and hunger in people. So essentially the whole get the customer addicted idea.
The GMO.
Orbs is rather vague. From what
I agree with that too.
Referring to the orbs that are seen in photographs when taken in the sunlight. So, dust, particles, things such as. But the conspiracy says that it is a paranormal or supernatural occurrence. So yeah.
Pause.
New World Order, for those that aren't familiar.
Pause. Yo, shout out my boy Steve real quick. Because I seen the shit in this house and it's not dust. It's not. But you do see them paranormal videos where you see dust flying around and they say spirits.
It's orbs.
Yeah, orbs. Right. There's a difference between an orb and a dust. So let me just say that. And the shit that's in my man's house, I don't know what that shit is. He's got voices. He's got things popping out the top of the staircases that look like full body apparitions. Steve's house is wild.
We heard some stuff in this house not too long ago.
I always hear shit in this house. I did quit. It's funny. When I first moved in here, I swore I heard voices. Maybe it was your snoring.
No.
No.
Go ahead, play. In the book of Revelations in the Bible, it details that there will be a one world government or one world order in the end times. And this will be much more specific detail as we get later on into the iceberg.
Right.
But at this tier, it's basically just referring to the idea that all governments want to come together to make one government. I know I keep
that's a conspiracy
into the iceberg, but there's good reason for it. Some of the ones down there are insane and get into specifics of how one world government can be achieved and things such as. So stay tuned. Next is the Nibiru Cataclysm. Nibiru is a planet, or also known as Planet X, that was predicted by a scientist in 2003 to collide with the Earth in 2003. So pretty well debunked. But the term is still used to apply to an idea that a meteor or any other body could hit the planet one day and kill us all. Now we get into the fun stuff. The Bilderberg meetings is an event that really does happen every year, in which Western economists meet with European governments to discuss capitalism in the West from all the evidence I could find. Obviously, there are several theories that come from this, especially since the fact the press isn't allowed and there are no notes to be taken.
Right.
So a group of world elites talking behind closed doors in high places. Nice. Transhumanism is more of a philosophy.
Before we get into transhumanism, how many of y'all believe that happens? Let me just say that.
They absolutely.
Still to this day. Let me tell you this. That is and I don't care. I believe this. I'm giving perspective on this. I'm not going to say the name. But that group absolutely is the 100% world domination, world choices. Every bill, every dollar that's spent, that decision's made in that room right there.
Absolutely.
I don't give a fuck who you vote for. I don't.
Or they're just puppets from the ones that are.
Nah, they are the puppet holders. I guarantee you. Oh, bro, the only people above them are the boule. They're running shit. Absolutely. Guarantee you Larry Fink is in that meeting. Guarantee you. 1,000%. Hey, Beauty Mark's probably in that meeting too. With his brother. They got shot.
We got good content for tomorrow, bro.
Yeah, we got to talk about the Bilderberg group. Yeah, I was in there. You would say some shit like that. That boy
sprained my ankle when I walked out of the room. I had to go to the hospital.
They hit me. Now, listen, I believe that 1,000%. I know y'all do. That's not bullshit. That is the actual sewer. That is the sewage. And now this transhumanism one, I want to see what they say about this. Let's go.
The theory, really. It applies a lot to anarchist rings, oddly enough, and it's essentially the idea that humans can be further expounded on or bettered through augmentation of computer parts and like cybernetics and things such as BEK, or black-eyed kids, is a recurring phenomenon in the supernatural community of small children appearing with blacked out eyes. You can follow this rabbit trail pretty far,
demonic.
But pretty much surface level.
I don't believe this.
It's just creepy kids who appear whenever tragedy happens. So people chalk it up to ghosts or extraterrestrials or what have you.
If that was me, one of the little kids rolled up on me, bro, on everything I love, you think I'm going to run like it's that black and white horror film? I will beat the shit. Like, no, I don't beat up kids. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying if those demonic looking motherfuckers, you ain't going to put belt to ass? BTA? Huh? You going to let them ride out on you because they got black eyes? Get the fuck. Next.
That's Antarctica, which there is a slew of Antarctic theories. Everything ranging from giant holes appearing in the middle of Antarctica to government bases being down there.
I believe this.
That's where the world elites hide. I mean, you can
I don't know about that.
On this. So moving on. Next is the basement tapes. For those of you that don't know, before the Columbine shooting, the two shooters made a series of videos
this is true.
detailing what they were going to do, how they were going to do it, and generally talking about how they hate people in their school and there needs to be a cleansing and things such as. These tapes still exist, although the conspiracy resides in no one knows who has them. However, randomly portions of them will appear online, leaving people to believe that they're out there, maybe exchanging hands, but no one knows where they're at. Next up, we've got Operation Northwoods. This is a rather well-documented case, but essentially during the Cuban Missile Crisis,
this gets used on us a lot to this day.
The CIA that said to warrant a war with Cuba, they should commit acts of terrorism against U.S. citizens and then blame them on Cuba to justify a war.
Pause.
Which,
if you think that is a conspiracy, stay in America. If that takes something hard to convince, and just do your own research on Operation Northwoods. That's all I ask. And then I want you to look at the most recent events that have happened on U.S. soil. And I just want you to keep all that in mind to what happened after the events that happened on U.S. soil and then what happened after that. And watch this domino effect on why they needed that event to happen on U.S. soil. And then go back and read Operation Northwoods and tell me if you still think you voted for that. Hit play.
Yep. Next up is PSYOPs. This is also well documented.
This is
the fact that specifically the U.S. government, as well as other governments, is known to employ psychological warfare, from noises to conditions and supply rations and things like that. The Vela incident is an event occurred off the coast of South Africa in 1979. What happened is a system of satellites known as the Vela satellites captured two back-to-back giant flashes for seemingly no reason. However, after reading into it, it was probably just an unsanctioned nuclear test because this satellite system had caught them before and they looked similar. And the whole conspiracy is just because there was no scripted test that day. So yeah, probably just nuke testing. Next we have giants. While this one seems vague, later tiers get into it more specifically. But essentially in the Old Testament of the Bible, there are several references to giants happening. And obviously today there doesn't seem to be any. However, this conspiracy, as we get into it later, applies to the deep state and cover-ups and things such as, so I don't want to spoil any of it yet. But
see, he's going to get into these more depth later. Right. So he's just running through them. Yeah. So that'll be another episode.
Padma McCord is.
He's letting you know what he's talking about.
There's a lady online by the name of Padma McCord.
He's about to get into them all depth.
For some reason, thousands, if not millions, of URLs, which, looking at this on the outside, you'd say, oh, it's some company using a name or whatever, until you go to the URLs and it's just pictures of her face photoshopped onto other women for some reason. And every one of these websites has
a serial killer.
Links to
he's got a stalker.
Websites, which someone who knows tech may know more about it than I do. I have no clue why. It's just creepy. The Elisa Lam incident. For those who haven't trolled around on creepy internet videos like I have, you may not know.
Is this the elevator one?
But it is a story that is worth your time.
This is crazy.
She was a college student, I believe, at the Hotel Cecile in California, who for some reason, it's seen in security camera videos, runs onto an elevator, freaking out, keeps jerking around thinking something's following her, runs to her room, and is never seen alive again until she's found 3 days later in the water tank of the hotel.
Oh no, this isn't the one.
This is something else. Of a killing. No one was ever found in connection to it.
I do remember that,
it is one of the wildest videos ever to watch, knowing that she was never followed and there was never evidence of anyone following her.
How long ago was
it? It's
that?
really strange.
A couple years ago.
I'll leave you to look into this one yourself. But it was one of the first videos I remember that kind of got
I do remember this.
Whole,
hit pause.
Well, it kind of goes in line with the woman that was found in the
that was in a water tank or the oven.
Yeah.
Where?
At some restaurant or whatever.
Oh yeah, that was similar. I know you're talking about. Yeah, that whole internet was trying to find out who did that, and people were putting shit together on that. I think that actually found a result. I forget what it is, but what video I thought that was? There's a video of this Asian lady getting into this elevator, right? And the camera's pointed down on her, but you can see like there's something messing up. And then the elevator keeps going down. Now, this building's a big building, but it had probably like 16 to 20 floors. This elevator's going down for 5-10 straight minutes. Right. And it keeps going down. And when it gets to the very last floor, right before it got to the doors opening up, you could see like this face in one of the windows. It was like one of those old school elevators where you had to close the door and you saw the glass in the next room. You could see it, and you see someone's head like this as they're going down. Finally, it opens up after 5-10 minutes of going down, and you can tell it's going by floor because you see the floors through the window. Right. It goes up into this black, empty parking lot or empty space. Door will not close until she steps out of it. She steps out of it, closes behind her, and back up.
Like a Stargate or something?
It's something like the 13th floor. It's crazy. I thought that's what that was. And I don't know if that's a real video or not, but bro, some people might know what I'm talking about. If you watch paranormal content, you would saw that video. I need to get that video for y'all. Just to see. It could be fake, but that shit always, again, thought-provoking.
Right.
You know what I mean? So my mind goes, if you know, you know. But yeah, I remember that water tower one, though. Go ahead, play.
Whatever. The Terry Calico picture. This one's just
Terry Calico picture.
There was a woman named Terry Calico who was suspected to be abducted in the early 90s, and then a few months later, a picture of her bound and gagged turned up in a parking lot around the area she was kidnapped. It leaves a lot of questions of why the picture was left there and what any of it means, especially since it was just in some random convenience store parking lot. But like I said, this is just sad. The Mad Gasser of Mattoon. I have never heard of this one before until researching it. But apparently in the 40s, there was a series of gas attacks that occurred in Mattoon, Illinois, which investigators mostly chalked up to mass hysteria and people who left their fuel lines running. But everyone who it happened to, which was dozens of cases, claimed that it was an individual that ran up to them and attacked them with invisible gas. Yeah, have fun with that one. COINTELPRO.
Fart, man.
Like Operation Northwoods, this one's pretty well documented and known at this point. But essentially, before the Patriot Act became a thing, it's evidence of the FBI illegally spying on U.S. citizens to gain information.
Come on,
and
bro.
Blah, blah, blah.
That's
And
not a
again,
conspiracy.
The Mao-Yale connection.
COINTELPRO,
This one
absolutely
pretty much
not.
just says that the old communist emperor of China, Mao Zedong, was in secret connections with Yale University in ways to indoctrinate students and receive funding from them and vice versa. From what I've seen, it's mostly just conspiracy jargon, but you can check it out for yourself. The I-70 killer. This is referring to the spring of 1992. There was a series of 6 murders of gas station clerks on the I-70 interstate, and no one was ever caught, but some sketches were given. From everything I've found, this is simply just a serial killer string that went unsolved. The Majestic 12 is a reference to a board member of 12 people put together by Harry Truman in 1947 to recover all alien spacecraft information and things such as. This relates back to Area 51, although it's a bit more specific in saying that there's a committee, so to speak, that looks over anything that happens with extraterrestrials. Also, Area 51 was also in this first tier list, but like I said, it's one of those that's so obvious there's no reason for me to talk about it. Red Squads are, again, a pretty well documented government thing that during the whole Red Scare of the 50s and 60s, there were groups of U.S. police officers whose sole purpose was to hunt down communist sympathizers and arrest them for whatever. The secret was really hard to find information on because it's such a vague.
The Red Squad to attack sympathizers. You guys need to pay attention. I didn't even know that was something called the Red Squad, but we've been having a lot of attention towards, you know, the blue helmet people, right? Mm-hmm. That's interesting. When I was listening to that, I was like, damn, I feel like that's something that's going to happen in our future. And right now it's deemed a conspiracy, but is it something that we're projecting? On the table. Yeah. Why would that even be a conspiracy?
Right.
And why the verbiage, attacking sympathizers? So that means, I guess, people waking up to the whole agenda, then they're becoming sympathizers, and those sympathizers get attacked. When you start looking back at history, I think that's what happens over and over and over. People start waking up. Then they become sympathizers to the evil, and they're like, no, we're going to force the evil back down on you through propaganda and to create a problem over a solution. How long have we been going through this? Well, that's what I get from the Red Squad.
Think of transhumanism, it would stop that.
Right. Yeah, definitely. We're getting towards the end game. I feel the end game more than I ever felt in my life. I really, man, I don't know, bro. Listen, I will off myself if it's forced. You're not trapping me. I'm escaping.
Right.
Death is only the beginning, people. I want you to know that. Please be in your power. They're trying to use fear to control you in ways, bro. Don't take that chip. That's all I'm going to say. Peace of guys. Next video.
Title. To give it its italics,
that's real, bro. That's real.
Book that essentially is a self-help book that says, thinking certain thoughts deliberately will change the course of your life. So, not sure why it's on there, but, we're still in tier 1, so whatever. Acupuncture is an interesting one. This relates back to the big pharma I mentioned at the beginning, and essentially says that acupuncture heals several diseases, but it is purposely put down and not given attention by mainstream media and doctors because it would put them out of business. So it's an interesting.
Now listen, I have to tell you this, and I believe there's something with acupuncture because we believe in the chakras, right? Mm-hmm. So you guys ever watch some Chinese old flicks where they do like the 5-finger pressure points and you walk 3 steps, you die? Yeah. I believe there's some validity to that as well. Like our bodies are full of these points. Mm-hmm. What if acupuncture really was it is a holistic healing. Let's call it what it is. It is. But imagine if more people got hip to understanding who they are and if they got chakras and they got pressure points, then there's something with acupuncture that could heal you. Remember, you are a walking pharmacy, and all they're doing is activating points in your brain to release certain serotonins or dopamines or to testosterone. That's all they're doing.
It could be that with frequency.
Probably. That'd be 2 point. Yeah, absolutely. There's something to think about, man. And it's actually surprised they allow it to be practiced. Yeah. But it's probably such on a minor level that people
wouldn't even think about it.
Yeah, they're also thinking, oh, there's needles going in my back. Fuck that. It's like it's it's visually not appeasing. Right. You know what I mean? Think about it. You gonna get some acupuncture, bro?
No.
Fuck no. Why?
Because it's going to hurt.
What that you think it's going to hurt, which is your thoughts. It
Yeah.
doesn't. You don't feel nothing. They do it. Exactly. How can you think you would hurt them entering you?
Yeah.
You feel nothing.
Hmm.
Right. Something to think. Do a little research on that. You might lose weight. You might turn down to me, bro. I love Cliff. I'm just messing with him. Trying to encourage him, you know? But yeah, man, that's an interesting one, man. I like acupuncture. I don't think it's a conspiracy. I think there's probably more validity to that. There's anything that isn't petroleum. Actually, I'm going to shut up right now. Keep going.
That's some rabbit hole view.
I almost went off the
Max
rails.
Headroom incident is something that happened in 1987 in
Saw
Chicago.
you drifting.
Yeah.
When two broadcast
Talking
stations
about
suddenly
shit.
I was
cut
thinking
out
about this the other
and
day.
cut to a
What?
video of a man
Hey,
wearing
Paul.
a Max Headroom costume.
You know what Max
It's a character
Headroom
from
is?
British
Yeah, it was a movie.
Okay.
Did you ever, have you
What
ever seen
happened? What happened with the innocent before they talk? Let's see how much you know.
It was like an artificial intelligence.
Really?
Yeah.
Let me see how close you
television, who began talking random jargon and swearing, and then had someone spank him on camera, and then the broadcast cut out. What's interesting is that there's never been anyone named a suspect. There was never any evidence found.
Hit
and it's
pause.
pretty much become
This is
What
about
are you
something-
talking
This
about?
is about something behind the scenes when it was being made. That had nothing to do with the movie itself.
I'm waiting for like artificial intelligence. You talking about someone being spanked, and I'm looking at Cliff like, boy, you just be talking. Oh, Jacob, I'm on live. I'll call you back, bro. I promise. But yeah, man, get play.
a whole Reddit
lucky I
thread
see it.
trying to figure out who this person was, what happened, and name them. So it's an interesting mystery to go on, but from everything I could find, it was just two guys messing with the media. And then for the last one I'm going to cover in Tier 1, we have the UN Agenda. This is pretty much just relates to Agenda 21 and other conspiracies, which I'll talk about more in later tiers, but the idea that the UN is trying to build itself towards a new world order. Tier 2's title is Deep Researcher.
That's a
and it's
conspiracy!
described as theories and Twilight Zone level stuff. Most of these entries
Look at
can
it.
easily be
Ooh.
studied through the use of mainstream medias, but they require a good grasp of how the world
Pineal
works to be
gland
fully understood.
calcification.
Common people rarely
This
go
is
this
tier
deep.
2.
First up, we have lucid dreaming. Lucid dreaming is a well-known
Not a
concept
conspiracy.
that during sleep, some people can control their
It's not a
dreams and what happens
conspiracy.
in them. I, for one, am one of these people.
Oh,
However, the theory comes in where people who can lucid dream can either affect things that happen in the real world or affect their thought process by manipulating things in the dreamscape. Next up is MK Ultra.
how is that a conspiracy?
MK Ultra is a rather well-known experiment that happened with the
How old
CIA
is this?
in the 1970s, late
2
60s,
years.
in which people were brought in and influenced with psychotropics and other mind-altering drugs for the CIA to view the effects of and potentially use in PSYOPs, which again was something mentioned in Tier 1. This is a rather well-known event. Most of the theories stem from the idea that either it's still going on or it was done at a great larger scale than the populace is aware of. Next up we have
That- hit
hypnosis.
pause.
Again, this is one of the
Did you hear that ending? Doing on a wide range of scale that the populace is unaware of. 1,000%. You know how you could ring that to be true, and you want to call that a conspiracy? You know how you could ring that to be true? They're arguing about gender. You think he think the population isn't MK'd? Get the fuck, get next. The fuck,
those establishing theories. But as we all know, hypnosis is
pronouns.
influencing the watcher to either recall things from the past or implant memories and yada yada things such as. Next up we have fluoride. Fluoride has to do with the fact that in the U.S., fluoride
This is not a
inserted into the
conspiracy.
tap water in order to help with tooth enamel.
We actually got something
This
in
is
the
not a
mail from
conspiracy.
Woodlawn Water Department saying they were taking fluoride out of the water.
Oh, so
Yeah.
but why is this on a conspiracy list? Isn't that
Right.
crazy how they put the truth on conspiracy? They just
Yeah.
don't make it entertaining, just so you
Yeah,
question.
Justin,
That's crazy. Why the hell is this on it when it's been tested?
Right.
Huh?
Just
Shit.
trying to control it.
Right. They're just trying to make people like, oh, the
Oh,
government
that's
would
a
never do
conspiracy.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. You ever hear of the DuPont company? You know what they've done with Teflon? Shit. Yeah, people's teeth falling out from drinking water.
Yeah.
You ever see that video?
Yeah.
The Hulk, the guy who plays the Hulk was in it.
Mhm.
That's a sad. That's a tear-jerking bit, boy. Whew. And that's our American corporations.
Yeah.
That's the problem, man. Oh, I forget what the name of it. Blackwater or something. Good movie. Some chat knows what I'm talking about. Definitely man. You want to know how evil your world is? Go watch that shit, bro. It's fucked up. You got little kids. They can't even shower in that water. I forget what state that. Same thing happened in Detroit. Now was it Detroit? But their water was getting all messed up.
It's still getting,
bro. This is how you know it's deep. They had a guy who was in the military create one of those machines that sucks up the water vapor out the air and can, help a town with water.
Right.
And his machine got vandalized. And the only way it was vandalized to the point where it no longer works. And the damage they did to that machine can only be done as if you understand what that machine was doing.
Right.
So, you know what I mean? You knew, you made sure this can't work no more. Like, you went extra into fucking it up.
Like your government.
And what did it, right. I'm trying not to say that, but who would mess up a source of, saving life instrument? Who, like, yeah, let me go fuck this up.
Right.
There's intentions behind that. Next video.
Such as
Lakers and 5.
Lakers and 5!
That fluoride is a chemical and can therefore chemically castrate or influence other biomechanical things in the body. So this will be more tied in later, but such as pineal gland calcification is believed to be a side effect of fluoride poisoning or fluoride control, as people believe. Speaking of, pineal gland calcification is the idea that the pineal gland in the body calcifies after a certain point. This is actually true, however, the side effects of the theory are not. The way the pineal gland works is it has to do with growth and hormone supplements in the body, but after someone passes puberty, it's not really needed anymore, and the gland simply calcifies and dies out. The theory comes from the idea that things such as fluoride and other things taken in the body causes the gland to calcify and keeps us from reaching either our full brain or physical potential. This goes into weird theories about how to uncalcify and things such as, but it is true that as you get older, you don't need the pineal gland anymore, so it kind of just withers away. Next up, we have cicada. This is in reference to cicada 3.
What?
Right. So basically, I heard him say wither away. I don't know if y'all are paying attention. I think that's why he said, what? No, what? Huh? Wither? Do I still have mine? Right? Think about that. What if? Say what he said. Remember, this is on the conspiracy side again. Say what he said is true. Your pineal gland withers away. So, are you capable of opening up your third eye if you don't have one?
Hey.
I think I gotta research this now because that's just gonna bug me.
Yeah.
Because what are we doing? What are we talking about here?
There ain't no science.
No, fuck no. Wither away? Nah, listen, my shit open. I'm Dr. Strange. I'm Dr. Strange.
Just don't pull us into the multiverse.
Nah, yeah, right. I'm trying to go this weekend. Yeah, we will be tripping on the podcast. Yeah, I'm gonna stop talking about it next.
3301, which was a large-scale code breaker event that happened in 2012.
Cicada, I know about this.
A random account appeared.
No one ever could beat it, though.
3301 and had these large puzzles for people to solve. There have been a total of 3, with a new one being added every time the last one gets figured out. However, the third one, to this day, despite being posted in 2016, has still not been found out.
Nobody has
The site
solved
says the
it.
reason
Nobody.
for this is that they are recruiting code breakers for some kind of secret project.
You
that
beat
no
that, you're getting a phone call.
It's a very interesting rabbit hole to go down. I may make a video on it someday. There's several videos out there, and give the third puzzle a look. You may be the code breaker that's wanted for whatever super sleuth activity they got planned. The McFly code is our first look at one of the more kooky ones. It is a belief that the Back to the Future movie predicted 9/11. The evidence of this is things such as
everyone saw that.
Mall
That's a conspiracy, but I mean it's a weird one.
The movie is Twin Pines shopping
then goes
mall,
to one
where the fact
pine.
that the first clock of the movie shows 9:55.
Shows you buildings falling down. Shows a lot of creepy shit in that movie.
Things such as, and this all connects to the idea that the people who did 9/11 make movies and blah blah blah. You get it. Dowsing or
I 1,000% believe this.
Is an idea that using a fork of metal, people can pick up on sonic vibrations from the earth in order to find underground supplies of water, oil, etc. It's more of a wives' tale than anything now.
Right.
But
It's
there
a
is
practice
some
that
truth
isn't
to it
used
when it
no
comes to
more.
how people used to found oil refineries.
Hit pause.
However, the way
Absolutely. And I'm going to tell you why I believe this is just that it's a practice that hasn't been taught to us no longer because we've lost all the ways of old and they've given their new ways how they can make us consumers. Think about that. How detrimental would it be to the government if anybody had the technology to find their own oil, find their own water?
Yeah.
You think they want you to have that? Y'all believe that? And what's it tuning into? Frequency and vibration. Tuning fork, basically, dowsing. I 1,000% believe this is that they took away the technology because if that isn't free energy, I don't know what is.
Yeah.
Tell me I'm lying.
No.
Play the video. No, go ahead.
this links back into a
If
theory.
you could put oil up, they're not going to let you store oil.
Right.
Like that, though.
I understand that, but think about it. You find your own shit. You struck oil, you struck gold.
Right.
They didn't want you to strike gold, or they didn't want to monopolize the earth.
Oh, yeah.
They're monopolizing the water you drink. They're monopolizing the air you breathe soon.
Yeah.
They're right now trying to make you monopolize you just driving on the road. In New York City, now you got to pay a monthly fee. Man, go look that shit up. You got to pay to drive in New York City.
It's
Huh?
going to be like that everywhere.
What?
Carbon
You
tax.
see what they're saying, bro. I'm a conspiracy theorist. Guys, don't believe nothing we say. Hey, believe your narrative. Absolutely. Thank you. And I'm not talking to my followers. I'm talking to the bots out there. Bot life. Play the video.
It's one of those establishing ones again.
Bot
There are
life.
sonic vibrations within the earth. Next up, we have Admiral Byrd, and this is one of the first really interesting
Admiral
ones.
Byrd. Pause.
Admiral Byrd was sent
Is Admiral Byrd a conspiracy, people? Is Admiral Byrd a conspiracy? I believe there are some things in there, yes, and I believe he is a controlled up conspiracy.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say. I have looked into Admiral Byrd myself. I have looked at how he walked, the whole earth is flat, them walking around Antarctica. Antarctica is only 8,000 miles in circumference. So Admiral Byrd put a stake in the ground and went to go trek around Antarctica, and he walked 70,000 miles and didn't reach his flag. That's just something that I found weird, and that has actually been documented. But hey, I don't know. He went on national TV and then died 3 weeks later after saying there's lands beyond Antarctica.
And had craft coming out of the water.
Yeah,
that
he
attacked
said
their
all that,
fleet.
and then he died. That's what makes me give it side eye.
Right.
If he didn't die and his journals not confiscated
Right.
and all this crazy shit, then I'd be like, man, y'all bugging. But
It's retracted.
right. Yeah, it's retracted. It's didacted. Retracted. Redacted. That's it.
Yeah, redacted.
You messed my retracted. The fuck? So you got an alligator alien mouth? Retracts.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. That's all I'm saying. I know a little bit about this subject. Maybe I know a lot. I don't know. Hey, play.
to Antarctica shortly after World War II in something called Operation High Jump,
Right.
which was essentially an
fishbowl.
idea
Yep.
to figure out whatever the Nazis were looking for in Antarctica during World War II, which relates to this place called Base 221, which was supposedly a Nazi outpost in Antarctica. When he returned back, he was put into isolation for 36 hours and was told not to speak of what he found to anyone under any circumstances, to which he was then given the Medal of Honor and told to leave. While this is odd, many connect it to the idea of what the Nazis were looking for in the first place, which is something known as Agartha. Which brings us into our next topic, Agartha.
Agartha.
In theory, Agartha is a civilization located beneath the Earth. This gets into a larger idea called Hollow Earth theory, that inside of the Earth, it is essentially a flipped gravitational pull, and there's an entire world operating beneath us. What's interesting throughout history is how different civilizations and leaders have been dedicated to finding this quote-unquote Agartha, such as Hitler during World War II, and other ancient tribes have tales of people that live beneath. How that's connected is since Agartha is what Germany was looking for in World War II, and since that's where Admiral Byrd went to go look and then was told to shut up and never talk about it,
Yep.
many believe
he
Admiral
died.
Byrd found Agartha
Right.
and then was told to simply never talk about
Pause.
Next-
Pause. What now? I'm glad he brought this up because he gave me a great segue. Great segue. Agartha. He was. Before I even get to it, do y'all know what the most heavily surveillanced area in the not the United States, but our globe? Do you know what the most heavily surveillanced area is on our globe? The most heavily surveillanced. It is the North Pole. Admiral Byrd was about to boat to the North Pole because he's an admiral, admiralty law. After that whole TV show thing, and he never made the trip. And it's funny how, remember, it's all sleight of hand. We're so focused on Antarctica, but have y'all ever seen that globe picture, the alleged globe picture? Could be doctored because how many pictures of a globe do we have? But there's a video out there of this black hole that's in our North Pole. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And why is it so heavily surveilled the way it is?
I saw that same video in
Heavily.
another documentary.
All around.
Talking about where it shows the vacuum of
there's an inner Earth. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. There's something up with the North Pole. Everyone wants to focus on Antarctica, and I believe that's on purpose. I believe it's psyop. Why? Because they used the trigger word Nazis. Mm-hmm. That's a conspiracy they're probably going to bring up on here. That AH mustache man had UFO technology, UAP technology. And that there was a race trying to get to those scientists. That's why all them scientists from Germany came over to the United States. And now look what happened. We're the big, heavy military power. So there's some validity to something that's going on. Right. But I want to know what's up with North Carolina. Shout out. Go on and raise up. Take your shirt off. Switch it around your head. Swing it like a helicopter. No. I meant North Pole. Sorry. That was a commercial break. But I don't know. Let me say this. Globe Earth, inner Earth. I don't know what the fuck this is. But I believe there's a door. I believe there's multiple doors that exit. I don't know what that exit is, but I believe we're living in a real 2.0 Truman or Maze Runner movie. I don't know. Inception. That's a dream-like state, but we leave when we dream. I don't know, man. Go a long way.
Except we have weather control or HAARP.
Absolutely. HAARP is a
HAARP for High Frequency Active Auroral Research
Frequency.
Program, an actual military base located in Alaska. The purpose of this base is monitoring weather activity, although many have accused it as being a weather control base, such as Hugo Chavez saying that the earthquakes that occurred in South America were due to meddling at the HAARP location in Alaska.
Just like the ice cube neutrino.
There's a lot of people who trace the weather around the area to look for signs on it, so you can check it out yourself. But basically the idea in Alaska that the government has a weather control base. Freemasons is another one of those establishing ideas. It essentially goes off of the well-known idea that the Masons are shady.
They literally have lodges.
They influence several politics and events that happen around the world. So this is another one of those asterisk ones. Keep the Masons in mind for things that come later. Yes. The 23 Enigma is simply that. An idea that the number 23 is suspicious throughout history in things such as dates and events, a number of casualties, and things such as.
Crazy.
You can look in this one yourself.
Low energy.
Really long. There's even a movie about it starring Jim Carrey. Yep. But essentially the idea that the number 23 is to be avoided. Next up, we have astral projection.
Pause.
Astral projection.
The number 23 is to be avoided.
Mm-hmm. And how much of that's around our society?
Michael Jordan? LeBron James, they're the GOATs. Yeah. Evil. Listen, the 23 Enigma. And then you start looking around at that number. Who wears those numbers?
23 and me.
23 and fucking me. Should have known. Damn, put that together. This motherfucker just said 23 and me. Yeah, the movie. Yo, listen, dude. I gotta be careful what I say, but y'all listen. that's a clippable moment right there. I'm gonna just say that. Hit play.
Relates a lot to lucid dreaming, although it's a little bit different. The idea of astral projection is that while sleeping or in a trance-like state, someone can remove their soul or their consciousness.
This is not a conspiracy.
And walk around and influence things.
This is facts.
Experiments with this include hospitals who have put messages on the roof, and people who claim to astrally project have projected above the hospital, so to speak, been able to read what was on the roof, come back down, and tell the doctors what they saw. Next up, we have succubi. This will relate more in theories on, such as giants, but essentially the idea is that there are these supernatural entities disguised as women that feed off of men's energy by appearing as a sexual being or feeding off of their life.
This is not conspiracy!
Eastern philosophy is incredibly vague. I can only imagine this is also a setup as it applies to Hinduism and Taoism and just general ideas of spirituality, yin and yang, so on and so forth. Nephilim is what I was referring to.
We're going to stop here, guys, because this is going to be a lot of episodes. And I don't want to just drown it out with us watching a video. But right now he's giving you a lot of base information. Later on in episodes on this, you guys are going to hear full out detailed explanations on conspiracies because they're going to need long, detailed episodes into it. There's a reason why this video is 9 hours long.
And it's just the first tier.
Yeah, and he's just getting and he's just reading them right now. He's not even diving into them yet.
How many tiers?
I think 6 or 7. You'll see. There's a lot. I like the quick run through though,
Yeah.
but when we get into, I'm gonna pick apart certain ones in here that we're gonna watch, and watching one of them is gonna be a whole episode.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I just want everyone to hear it. You could also, in the comment section, if y'all hear one y'all want to like, please put it in the description or in the comments so I can, give you guys what the viewers want. If y'all hear some, might have been that one you heard in this one, cool. Next one, you might hear something on. But
Right.
so later on when we get to the episodes, bro, there's a lot of far out ones, and there's a lot of deep, dark ones that I'm not going to lie are mind-bending. You know what I mean? They're thought-provoking. I'll say that. And it's not to be thinking in a cynical way or pessimistic. It's just all the information you hear, make sure you listen to it not from a preordained bias, because it's not yours. Your belief has the word lie in it, and there's a reason. The only reason you continue to go to work right now is all programming. The reason you continue to go and participate in this society is because what else is there to do? So it's a belief you have of not having a choice. But that's a different conversation. And right now, we're battling the world. All you awaken, I know we can't do shit about it because there's not enough of us. But imagine if we did. I can't lose that hope. And don't let nothing ever come in between us. Just like Denzel Washington said. Don't let nothing come in between us when it comes to our ideologies and how we think. Because I don't want to think what you think. I want to think what I think. I don't want you to think what I think. I want you to think what you think. And that's huge. I don't want you to be me. I want you to be you. We all got to start being examples of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's all this is for, man. And again, you're going to learn a little bit why. I'm going to give you some information with this whole thing to reinstitute why you are awakened. Because you're going to be able to see through the bullshit. It's good to, you practice intentions and all that. Got to practice your eye, bro. That's all I'm going to say. You got to use that brain. I love all of y'all. Anything, you got to say anything, Cliff?
No, I'm good, man.
You good, bro? Was that a nice little thing to do something different, right?
Yeah. That's
Just have fun, laugh,
Yeah.
I want to watch it when we interact. Of course,
Right.
we critique ourselves. But again, if you guys got anything you guys want us also to preview, we will. And we can talk about it. Soon y'all be like, yo, put on Above Majestic. Damn, we going back to 2020? Put on Above Majestic? Fuck.
That is something good to watch.
It is. But come on,
But
it's entry level.
Yeah.
It's entry level. It's like when I first woke up.
Yeah.
Everyone watched that.
Yeah.
I love y'all, man. Be of service. Thank God no tornadoes got us, but we got till 11:30. It's really bad out here. It is. So anybody in this region, Arkansas, Tennessee, Kentucky, Alabama, please be safe out there. Be aware. Be alert. And again, be present. I love all y'all. Peace to the guys.